Hello, everyone. Welcome to this August 2023 full moon forecast in Aquarius. Thank you so much for being here. If you are a first timer or if you have been to these forecasts many times, my name is Charlotte Elliott Dovechild. I am a New Earth priestess and I channel and deliver a message for us, for our collective and personal healing and spiritual evolutions, and offer some guidance and insight as to what energies are at play for us during this full moon window and the days to come. So to kick off this reading today, I actually have a pretty important announcement to make. This is going to be the last full moon forecast in this iteration anyway. And it is simply because I've gotten the nod from my highest self and my guides that this has come to completion, that I'm ready to step through another portal. And so I come today feeling very bittersweet. I've actually had second thoughts about it in the hours leading up to recording this. I got out my pendulum and I drew cards, second guessing myself, checking again, and it was very much confirmed that yes, this is the last forecast in this iteration, on this YouTube channel, in this form, with this deck of cards. I don't know what is to come, if there'll be another iteration of these forecasts in another format and another audience. We'll see. The thing around really honoring the cycles of the natural cosmic cycles of creation is that when we bring something to completion, we don't usually actually know what is next, because in order to move to the next thing, we move through a portal into the fertile void space. And so that is where I am going, into the fertile void, trusting that all endings happen for a reason, and trusting the fertility of that void space, that out of the death that we experience, something new is created. And so that is where I'm going next. And I thank you for everyone who has been watching these videos and commenting and liking and sharing. I very much appreciate it. And it has been a true joy to come and to create these videos for us. So with that, let's move into the energies that are present right now. This is the deck I use for these readings. It is called Tarot of the Spirit by Pamela and Joyce Eakins. And I draw 4 cards, one being our lesson for this current moon phase and the days beyond. The second is going to be our shadow. So what is needing to come out of hiding for us to see and work through and bring into unconditional love. And the third is going to be our gift. That's pretty self-explanatory. You know, what is the gift of this initiation that we are moving through? And the fourth card is our wild card. So that is what other energies are present that we haven't yet accounted for that are also impacting the situation at hand. So this is an interesting time that I'm offering this reading, because we are in one of the most special cosmic and high vibrational times of the year. It's called the days out of time. It's also called Lion's Gate, and it is when Sirius is rising with the sun and is actually shining her light behind the sun. And so when we are outside in the sun right now, we are also receiving the light from Sirius. We're receiving her light codes streaming into us. And the Egyptians called this time the days out of time, because if you look at the days of the calendar, we have 365 days. So if you count 12 moon cycles within that solar year, that would be 359 to 360. So what's up with those 5 extra days, right? So those 5 extra days, according to the ancient Egyptians, were the days that the gods became incarnate on earth. And so when we think about this in terms of our own personal evolution and working with Sirius, that Sirius really shines a light upon our highest self, our most pure light form. That is our own God incarnate. We are all God, right? We are stepping past the old paradigm of seeing gods as these beings external to us that are greater than us, that help us, and we are working through all the initiations to come to a place where we know ourselves as God, that we are the divine creator. We are a creation of the divine creator, and we are a reflection of the divine creator. We are a fractal of the divine creator. And so as Sirius shines her great cosmic light, Sirius is considered our spiritual sun. She helps to illuminate that highest self within us, that incredible great light. So we move through this during the time when the sun is in Leo, and Leo is the divine child. And so Leo really helps to fully allow us to integrate the light of our humanity and the light of our soul together. So hold this in mind as we move through this initiation of the next, I would say, week. So Lionsgate culminates, comes to a completion on 8/8. So that's why the 8s are also a big symbol of this time of year. But we're going to talk about 7s for a moment, actually. So we don't have any major arcana in this reading. And as I've shared before, whenever we have a major arcana, the energy of the reading sort of like lands on that card. That's the most powerful energies that are present. But we don't have any major arcana, but we do have, I'm going to just flash you the first 2 cards momentarily. We do have 2 7s, 2 7s here. So that's our theme. Our theme is to really working with the number 7. 7s often represent tests and initiations. So if you think about the ways that the numbers go, we get to 6 and we're like in a flow, we're in a harmony. And then we get to 7 and it almost feels like, wait a minute, what happened to my flow? What happened to that harmony? Why do I feel like I'm back to square one? And it's because we're being asked to actually refine and get to the next level. So it feels sometimes like when we're in 7 energy that we're back to square one, but we are not. We're actually in a very advanced stage of perfecting, of refining. And if you remember, we're going to go back to the beginning of the year because we are in a 7 year. So the beginning of 2023, I talked about how we are in the year of the Chariot. And this year is a learning process. And so what I received when I was sitting with these cards, and particularly with the 7s, is that we are being asked right now to go back to the beginning of the year. We can even go back to our journals and back to our initial intentions. What were our intentions for the year? What were our dreams and visions that we were having at the very end of the year, in the very beginning of the year, when we were in that other kind of time out of time, winter solstice period? What were the words, the seed words that dropped in for us? So looking back and coming back to that intention and realizing that what we are moving through right now with this incredible light shining upon us, which also does bring through the shadows and the things that we are denying, because the thing about high vibrations and great light is that it contains its opposite. So it contains the darkness, it contains the shadow, it contains the low vibrations. That's the law of opposites. That's the cosmic law. So whatever initiations we're moving through right now of balancing that light and dark within us is to help us to fully manifest our intention for the year. We are fast approaching the time of harvest, the time in late August and September where we bring all the energies we have been building and growing into fruition. And so this is like the last test and the last push for us to come into full integrity with that intention, to come into full loyalty to it, to knowing and remembering how important it was. And this remembrance is going to help us move through this initiation. It's going to give us that higher perspective that this is what this is for. This is ultimately what we are gaining through the experience. Okay, I'm talking a lot and I haven't gotten to the cards yet. So let's talk about our first lesson, our first 7. We have the garden, 7 of earth. So this is what I'm talking about with the manifestation and the culmination of and the harvest that is coming in later this month and September. So the garden and the 7 of earth is all about the cycles of creation, the cycles of manifestation. And we are asked right now to really look at and be really honest with ourselves about where in the cycle of creation manifestation we are at. And not pushing forward anything that's not ready to be cultivated and manifested, as well as not denying what is almost ready, what is growing on the vine, but maybe just not quite sweet enough and needs a little bit more time. So for many of us, that time of manifesting and culmination is fast approaching, and all we may need is a little bit of patience. All we may need is just to see this through. And for others of us, we might have been planting long-term goals and seeds, and perhaps it's not yet time. Perhaps it needs another year or 2 or more. And to really, truly honor that, to really, truly honor the laws of nature that guide this into the full fruition of what we really want. And for our spirit selves, this can feel really excruciating and annoying sometimes. We can get really impatient. I know I feel that often, where my highest self and my spirit runs ahead. It's like 4 years ahead of where my physical body is, where my physical life is. And we have to cultivate patience with this process. And so this card is a card of patience. It is saying everything is underway, and to tune into the earth cycle that you are in, the earth cycle that your project or your goals or whatever you have cooking is in, and to truly be grateful for it. Can you be, this is the true test, can you be grateful for where you're at in this process, even if you're not yet there yet? And maybe you can't, and that is okay as well. Okay, so let's hold that as central, that lesson, as we move into the next cards. And we're going to move to our shadow, which is the second 7. So this card came through reversed. And so, yeah, I'll hold it reversed actually. We've seen this card a few times before, and we've talked about the depth of this card. This card is incredibly deep. And as it comes through reversed, it is taking us into the void space within us. So when it's upright, this is the fertile void, right? The fertile void is that place where we go beyond the personality, beyond all our own stuff, down into the very depths of us, where we meet that place where we meet great creator, which is the void, which is this place of great spaciousness, right? And it's where space meets light. But when we are in the reversed place, where this takes us to is those places of emptiness, within us, those places of woundedness and trauma, the places where we are living in separation from Source, from God, from the great Creator. So we're being shown right now these places, we're being initiated by being shown these wounds in order for us to bring light and bring healing and bring love into those spaces. So this is what I was talking about with Sirius shining through the sun right now, and us receiving these incredible light codes of our highest self and our own God nature, right? And our own God nature takes us down to the fertile void as well. And then it's going to show us where in the fertile void we're actually holding emptiness rather than fertility. We're holding woundedness, we're holding separation. And we are shown this so that we can reclaim those incredible places of fertile void within us, which is a place of the divine, which is where we can create out of nothingness, out of nothing. It is a very powerful place that lives within us. And yet, yes, these initiations can be really, really difficult. They can be really painful. So during this time, if you feel like you are suddenly like, whoa, like you have a dream or experience that's really triggering, or one day you wake up and you're having this emotional heaviness, know that there is reason to this. There is a greater plan to this, and to step into whatever spaces you can with friends, with sisters, with brothers, with community, where you can be held in love, where you can hold yourself in love and allow those places to come into healing within you. Okay, so let's now move on to our third card, which is our gift. So here we have 8 of Earth. So we went from 7 to Earth to 8. And this one's called the Mountain. And I wanted to show something real fast, actually. So you see this, we have like this sort of triangular pyramid form. Triangular pyramid form. The next one sort of has that too, which I'll get to in a moment. So I found that really interesting. So the Mountain. I love this energy and the interpretation of this card from this deck, because it is a bit different from, if you know tarot, other 8 of Pentacles, which is the version of, in this deck, it's called 8 of Earth, which is about work, right? And craft and mastery of your craft. And that isn't excluded in this energy, but this energy of this particular iteration of this card takes it further for us. It is showing us that everything that we have experienced through our human experience, whether that was challenging or whether that was a blessing, whether that was horrible, whether it tested us, or whether it was easy, everything that we have gone through culminates into the mountain that we are. It is all earth that we stand upon within ourselves. And it is all of service to who we are and to how we serve in the world. So this card is about service, but it's about bringing all of who we are, who we have been, into culmination, so that that we stand at the top of our human experience with pride, with leadership, with light, and we stand at the top of that mountain, at that peak, and with the experience of our humanity below us, as this strong, mighty force. And with the light of higher consciousness, the light of spirit and source above us. And we meet in the middle. So this card is saying that there very well may be human experiences, ways that you have been tested, ways that you're being tested right now that are an incredible gift, and that will become an incredible gift, and that will become of service to you, that you need these experiences in order to fully step into that place of service, of wherever in service that you either are or want to go or are planning on going or maybe have no clue about. It is all going to be of service. And it is also letting us know that the illumination of that truth is upon us, that it is inviting us into a higher perspective of everything that we have moved through and that we are moving through. So to take time to ask yourself, ask your highest self, ask your guides, what is the lesson of this? What am I to learn from this? And yes, we have to sort of go through the raw emotions of an experience in order to kind of get to that place where we can know what the lesson is, know what the teaching of it is for ourselves. But we will get there. That's the gift. We will get there. And we will be able to use everything for the betterment of ourselves and everything for the betterment of humanity and our world. So this is really a message of hope. And the next card is as well. So then we move on to our wild card. And we have 6 of fire. So if you see the 6 of wands in a traditional tarot deck, it's usually showing somebody on horseback, like riding into triumph with this celebration around them, like the return of the hero, right? And we can see this as a message of dreams and desires coming into full manifestation. And the way that this energy somewhat differs is that it takes us out of the linear time space and into a multi-dimensional reality where even if we are not in that experience right now of really like receiving the rewards of our hard work, we can still come back to the glory of feeling and seeing our dreams and desires and intentions manifested. That energy is present for us. So in this image, we see this square with this red and black energy. So this is really the 3rd dimension, right? The physical world of Earth. And then we see this beautiful tree growing out with six spinning star wheels of red fiery energy. And then we see it held by the 4 elements, the 4 directions, and surrounded with light. And so really we can see this as our angelic body. Doesn't this look like an angel to you? It really stood out as an angel to me when I looked at it. That the light body, the light oversoul that is activated within us is holding the experience of the now, right now in this 3D reality, but is also holding so much more. And I felt and saw us like growing gigantic in size. Have you ever done one of those guided meditations where you allow yourself to become and see and embody your highest self, your soul self? And when this happens, you typically become gigantic. right? And it's this moment of realizing like how truly gigantic we are, that these physical forms we're in are so tiny. And so this is showing us the how much we truly encompass, how much light we truly encompass. And so when we remember and know how much light we truly encompass, who we truly are in our highest self, we know that all of that encompasses the past and the future in limitless versions and timelines, right? And so that we can go down that timeline and bring it back into the present and know it realized in the present once again. So this is simply to remember, and we're going back to that message of going forward and going backwards, going back to our initial intention of this year and jumping forward and seeing and knowing that it is fully manifested. The glory of that moment, the glory of that experience, the glory of who we are is already here with us, in us. There is a version of reality where this is fully manifested, and we can bring that into the now, into our bodies to experience it and anchor it into this moment. And perhaps that actually involves many different little versions of future timelines. You know, we don't have to just jump to one. We can actually play in the field. We can ask our imagination to follow our highest self into all these different possible divine versions of the future unfolded and pick what we want to come back into the present moment, what we want to anchor into the now. So I'm just really receiving again this message as I'm sitting here of allowing the light of Sirius to anchor us into the cloak of our light bodies, to feel into how gigantic we truly are, to feel into how much light we truly have the capacity to hold, because we are that light, to expand beyond the moment of whatever density we are feeling right now. And that is not to bypass it, is actually to hold it and contain it within something so much bigger. All right, so that is a beautiful message to end with. Thank you so much for watching today. Thank you to everyone who has watched in the past, and I hope to be back in some form or another. If you aren't currently on my newsletter, it would be a good idea to join, as that is the best way to kind of keep up to date with me. Also, follow me on Instagram. That's another really good way to stay up to date. I share usually actually different things on both channels, so follow me both places. And if you're in the Central Coast of California, send me a message because I'd love to connect, because I am leading in-person events here as well. All right, my lovelies, thank you so much. Love you so much, and be well, and just sending so many blessings your way in whatever ways the present and all the potential futures hold for you.